Long-term storage is often bad news for a classic car. Time, after all, is not kind to metal, rubber, or paint when left at the mercy of the elements. Many once proud machines, parked in fields, under trees, or in forgotten barns, have slowly succumbed to corrosion, neglect, and the indifference of years. Their stories end quietly. Engines frozen, interiors eaten by mice, chrome dulled to gray. But every so often, a different story emerges. One of preservation, patience, and care. A story like this 1964 Chevrolet Impala, which somehow managed to defy time itself. This particular Impala, discovered by Brito and Dustin of Hagerty's Driveway Finds series, is not just another forgotten car brought back from the brink. It's a survivor in the truest sense. One that spent its entire life with the same owner, sheltered, maintained, and cherished in a way that's almost unheard of in the classic car world. The original owner, a lifelong farmer named Gary, bought the two-door coupe brand new in 1964, fresh off the dealership lot. And for 36 years, it remained part of his life, not as a trophy or weekend toy, but as a trusted companion through decades of work, change, and progress. Gary's story with the Impala began like many others in small-town America during the 1960s. The Impala was a statement car, a blend of performance, comfort, and style that embodied Chevrolet's dominance during the golden age of Detroit. When Gary drove his brand new Impala home, its Lagoon Aqua poly paint shimmered in the sunlight, its chrome trim gleamed with optimism, and its V8 rumbled with quiet confidence. This wasn't just transportation. It was a symbol of success, of hard work paying off, of the American dream parked right in his driveway. For decades, Gary used the Impala as his everyday vehicle. It took him to the farm, into town, to family gatherings, and on long country drives. Yet, unlike many owners, Gary treated it with an almost obsessive level of care. He maintained it meticulously, washed it regularly, and stored it indoors, safe from the punishing cycles of weather that destroy so many vintage machines. And though the years rolled on and cars came and went, his 1964 Chevrolet remained a constant, familiar, dependable, and loved. By the year 2000, Gary decided it was time to move on. Not because the car failed him, but because he had grown accustomed to the comfort of modern conveniences. Air conditioning, for one, had become a necessity, not a luxury. So, reluctantly, he purchased a newer vehicle and parked the Impala for good. But instead of leaving it out to rot, Gary did what he had always done. He stored it properly inside his garage, covered and protected. The odometer showed 71,000 miles, a modest figure for a car that had served faithfully for nearly 4 decades. Then, as the years drifted by, the Impala slipped quietly into hibernation. 25 years passed. Dust settled. The once vibrant paint dulled under a thin gray veil. The air inside the garage grew heavy with the scent of old oil and aged upholstery. Yet beneath the stillness, the Chevy waited, unchanged, unspoiled, and intact. When Brito and Dustin finally got the call from Gary, he was in his 80s and ready to let his old friend go. For them, this was a dream find. In the world of classic cars, few things are more exciting than uncovering a one-owner, original condition survivor that's been tucked away for decades. They had heard whispers of the car before, neighbors mentioning an old Impala that hadn't seen the light of day in years. But it wasn't until now that they had a chance to see it in person. The moment the garage door lifted, it was like stepping back in time. The Impala sat there, its elegant turquoise paint cloaked in dust, its wide chrome grille smiling faintly through the haze. Even through the grime, the car's condition was astonishing. The body was straight, the trim complete, and the interior looked almost untouched. For Brito and Dustin, it was the very definition of a time capsule, a preserved piece of 1960s Americana that had somehow survived the decades without losing its soul. As they began to wipe away the layers of dust, the true beauty of the car started to emerge. The Lagoon Aqua poly finish, though slightly faded, still shimmered softly under the garage lights. The two-tone interior, a harmonious blend of turquoise and white, was remarkably well preserved. The seats, the dashboard, even the original steering wheel bore the graceful patina of honest use, not neglect. Only the driver's seat showed light wear, a subtle reminder of all those years Gary spent behind the wheel. It's almost hard to believe the odometer's 71,000-mile reading. Many cars with half that mileage look far worse. But Gary's careful stewardship had paid off. Every panel, every piece of chrome, every stitch of vinyl seemed to tell the same story. This was a car that had been loved, not just owned. Mechanically, the Impala remained just as authentic. Under the hood rested its original, numbers-matching 327 cubic inch V8, a mid-range engine option in 1964, producing either 250 or 300 horsepower depending on configuration. It wasn't the top dog 409 big block, but it offered a satisfying blend of performance and refinement. Back in the day, this 327 gave the Impala the kind of smooth, effortless power that defined Chevrolet's reputation for building some of the best engines of the era. Given its pristine appearance, Brito and Dustin assumed the revival would be straightforward. A new battery, some fresh gasoline, a few turns of the key, and the old Chevy would roar back to life, or so they thought. But like many long-dormant machines, the Impala had other ideas. The V8 was locked solid. Despite having been stored in a garage, time had taken its toll on the internals. For a moment, it seemed like the car might resist resurrection. Undeterred, the team began the delicate process of bringing the engine back from the dead. They soaked the cylinders, gently worked the crank, and carefully checked for any signs of deeper damage. After some patient coaxing, the engine finally turned, but it refused to fire. One by one, the problems revealed themselves. An old water pump that had seized, a fuel pump that no longer worked, and a carburetor that had gummed up after years of sitting idle. The radiator, too, had developed several cracks, unable to hold pressure. Still, these were minor setbacks in the grand scheme of things. Fortunately, Brito and Dustin had a stockpile of period-correct parts ready to go. They replaced what was necessary, cleaned and rebuilt what they could, and within days, the 327 V8 sputtered back to life. That first cough of ignition, the deep, rhythmic thrum of 8 cylinders finding their voice again, was like hearing a heartbeat return after a long silence. It's the moment every car restorer lives for, the instant when cold steel becomes something alive once more. With the engine running smoothly, they turned their attention to the brakes, which had understandably deteriorated after years of inactivity. The drums were refreshed, lines checked, and fluids replaced. Slowly but surely, the Impala transformed from a stationary relic into a functioning piece of living history. It rolled, it idled, it breathed again. Then came the final step, restoring its shine. Though the car had never been repainted or modified, decades of dust and oxidation dulled its once radiant surface. Armed with polish and patience, the team set to work. Layer by layer, they buffed away the film of time, revealing the lustrous glow of the original Lagoon Aqua paint beneath. When they were finished, the transformation was almost unbelievable. The Impala didn't just look good. It looked alive, as though it had merely paused for breath during its 25-year slumber. The final act of this remarkable story was perhaps the most emotional. Brito and Dustin decided to drive the freshly revived Impala back to Gary's home so he could see it one last time. As the car pulled up, its chrome glinting in the afternoon sun just as it had in 1964, Gary's face lit up with joy. He circled the vehicle slowly, taking in every detail, the paint, the trim, the interior he knew so well. When he finally spoke, his words carried both pride and nostalgia. "It looks just like the day I bought it." For Gary, it wasn't merely about seeing an old car restored. It was about reconnecting with a piece of his life, a tangible reminder of his youth, of long drives on open roads, of an era when cars were more than transportation. They were part of one's identity. To see his Impala revived, gleaming and roadworthy again, was like stepping into a time machine. Brito and Dustin, true to their philosophy, decided not to restore the car beyond what was necessary. There would be no repaint, no reupholstery, no chrome replating. The Impala would remain exactly as it had always been, an unrestored survivor, wearing its years with dignity and authenticity. Its slight imperfections, the faint patina, the gentle fading of the paint, the softened edges of the seat upholstery, were not flaws but badges of honor, proof of a life well lived. Cars like this are incredibly rare today. Most 1964 Impalas have either been heavily modified, restored to perfection, or lost entirely to time. Finding one that remains untouched, with its original drivetrain, paint, and interior intact, is almost unheard of. In the collector community, such survivors are revered because they tell the truth. They show us what these machines really looked and felt like when they left the factory, unfiltered by the modern desire for perfection. Some might argue that this Impala belongs in a museum, where it could be preserved indefinitely as a pristine artifact of mid-century American engineering. But Brito and Dustin see it differently, and so do many enthusiasts who understand what these cars were built for. They were meant to be driven. The hum of the V8, the glide of the suspension, the sound of the wind slipping past its long, graceful fenders. These experiences can't be captured behind glass. So instead of consigning the car to static display, they plan to keep it on the road, showing it at classic car events, sharing its story, and letting people feel the connection between past and present that only a living automobile can provide. Watching the Impala roll out into the sunlight, it's easy to see why the car captured so many hearts in its era. The 1964 model represented a pinnacle of Chevrolet's design language, a perfect balance of muscle and grace. Its long, sweeping lines, broad stance, and distinctive triple taillights made it instantly recognizable. Inside, the cabin reflected both comfort and class, with enough chrome and style to make every drive feel special. Beneath the skin, Chevrolet's engineering delivered reliability and performance that made the Impala one of the best-selling cars of the decade. Even now, 6 decades later, it holds that same allure. There's a certain honesty about it, a purity of design that transcends trends. Seeing it return to life after all these years isn't just a story about metal and mechanics. It's about memory, devotion, and the passage of time. Gary's Impala reminds us that cars, like people, carry their histories within them. Every mile, every scratch, every faded inch of paint tells a story, and perhaps that's why this rediscovery resonates so deeply. It's not just the thrill of finding an old car in great condition. It's the realization that care and respect can preserve something truly meaningful. In an age where most things are disposable, where technology moves faster than sentiment, this 1964 Chevrolet Impala stands as a quiet but powerful statement. Craftsmanship endures, and love leaves a mark that even time cannot erase. When Brito and Dustin finally shut off the engine after their last drive with Gary, the garage filled once more with silence. But this time, it wasn't the silence of abandonment. It was the peaceful stillness of something completed, a circle closed, a legacy honored. The Impala had survived not just as a machine, but as a memory, faithfully preserved across generations. In the end, it's hard not to see this car as more than just steel and paint. It's a bridge between eras, between the man who bought it new and the enthusiasts who now carry its story forward. It embodies the spirit of a time when cars were built with character, and owners forged bonds that lasted a lifetime. And as it glides once more down the open road, its turquoise paint gleaming in the sun, it carries with it not just the echo of 1964, but the enduring heart of everyone who's ever loved a classic car enough to keep it alive.